So the United States just did something so shady, so unbelievably petty, that if Saudi Arabia was a person right now, MBS would be sitting in his palace like, wait, did we just get catfished by a superpower? Because here's what happened. 2 days ago, and when I say 2 days, I mean today is July 24th, so I'm talking about July 21st and 22nd. The headlines drop. US and Saudi Arabia sign a civil nuclear deal. Not weapons grade, not here's a bomb, have fun. Just regular nuclear energy. Power plants, electricity, the boring stuff that keeps the lights on. America's gonna help Saudi build it. Everybody's happy. MBS is probably already picking out curtains for the new reactor. Then yesterday, plot twist. Word gets out that Netanyahu made a phone call. And suddenly, Trump's team is like, oh, the deal? Yeah, it's real. It's happening. It's just not happening. Because it only kicks in once Saudi Arabia normalizes relations with Israel. Translation, recognize Israel as a country, open up trade, let them build an embassy in Riyadh, go build one in Tel Aviv, and oh yeah, drop the Palestine issue entirely. That's the price tag. Saudi Arabia thought they were getting a nuclear plant. What they actually got was a group project where they do all the work and Israel takes the credit. And look, I want you to understand something about the Middle East, because this is the pattern. Every single time, nothing moves in that region until Netanyahu signs off. Doesn't matter what America announces, doesn't matter how big the press conference is, Trump can stand at a podium, throw both hands in the air, we did it, historic deal. And somewhere in the back, a phone rings, Bibi picks up, and the whole thing quietly evaporates. Do you want a proof? Gaza. Remember the big Gaza deal. Homes were supposed to be rebuilt. It's been months now. You know what's been built? Nothing. The one area that is being developed sounds less like reconstruction and more like a detention camp, where every single person going in or out is being tracked by Israel. That's the rebuild. That's the whole deal. So naturally, Iraq's new prime minister flies to the US, gets handed a proposal, and personally delivers it to Iran. Hey, ceasefire, you stop, America stops. Everybody goes home. Iran's response, and I'm paraphrasing here, but not by much. Absolutely not. Because Iran has figured something out that took the rest of us a minute. America doesn't sign deals to end wars. America signs deals to buy time. And breaking them isn't the exception anymore. It's basically the business model. Now, meanwhile, inside Israel, there's a subplot happening that is chef's kiss levels of chaotic. Netanyahu's own party is cratering in the polls. If elections happen tomorrow, Likud gets destroyed. So what do you do when you're an unpopular guy who's about to lose his job? You find a reason to postpone the election. And what's the best reason in the Middle East? A war, obviously. Here's the kicker though. One of Netanyahu's own party members went on record this week and said Iran could strike Tel Aviv by the weekend. And Bibi is furious, not because it's untrue, because saying it out loud is bad optics. This is a guy management crising his own war. And can you blame the public for turning on him? Because let's do the receipts. Lebanon bombed, Hezbollah still standing. And now there's actual talk of Israeli troops pulling back out of Lebanon. Iran, they went after the supreme leader, missed regime change entirely, and got absolutely humbled when Iran hit back. The economy is in free fall. So when Netanyahu's own MP casually mentions, hey, by the way, more missiles incoming, people aren't scared. They're just tired. Like, at what point does shock and awe become shock and like we've seen this movie before? And this is the part where it gets global. Because it's not just Netanyahu losing altitude. Trump's own base, MAGA, the America First crowd, is turning anti-war. The people who show up to rallies in the march are now like, wait, why are we funding a fourth front in the Middle East? Which is a problem, because midterms are coming and nothing tanks a party faster than its own voters going, didn't sign up for this. Now, let's talk money, because this is where it gets real for literally everyone watching. Regardless of what country you're in, Brent crude oil, the benchmark that decides what you pay at the pump, just blew past $100 a barrel. It was sitting around 65, now as triple digits. Why? Because the Houthis in Yemen decided to start hitting ships in the Red Sea. Specifically, and this is the interesting part, Saudi ships. not random ships, Saudi ones. Why would the Houthis, who've had beef with Saudi Arabia forever, suddenly escalate right now? My read: Iran didn't need to give a direct order. They just needed the Houthis to send a message. You want to shut down the Bab el-Mandeb Strait? Watch what that does to the world. One strike on a Saudi tanker, and suddenly every trader on earth is panicking about two choke points closing, Hormuz and Bab el-Mandeb, which together control basically all the oil and gas traffic out of the Middle East. That's not an accident. That's a message with a price tag attached. And Pakistan jumps in and goes, "We stand ready to fight the Houthis if Saudi is attacked again." Bro, Pakistan's economy is already running on fumes. You want to add a third front? Houthis? Maybe Iran later? Who's next? The neighbors? This is peak overstretch. This is Soviet Union in Afghanistan overstretch. You don't get to be a superpower by picking fights you can't afford. You get dismantled. And full disclosure, I'm a random guy, so nobody in Islamabad is exactly waiting on my foreign policy advice. But you don't need a PhD in geopolitics to see the math here. You've got a nuclear weapon, sure, everybody knows that part. But nukes don't pay for jet fuel. Nukes don't feed an army fighting in 4 fronts at once. And Saudi Arabia, the country Pakistan is supposedly riding in for, is also bleeding money right now because its own oil trade is getting strangled. So the guy you're borrowing courage from is currently going broke himself. That's not an alliance. That's two guys in a sinking boat high-fiving each other and calling it a coalition. And when a country is being run by a general who talks like he's already won 3 wars he hasn't fought yet, yeah, that tracks. That's just what that sounds like from the outside. Meanwhile, Iran's added the UK to its list of accusations, claiming British bases were used in the strikes. And both the UK and France have started pulling embassy staff out of Tehran. When embassies start emptying out, that's not a diplomatic footnote. That's everyone quietly preparing for something big. So here's where we land. America announces a deal that isn't a deal. Israel is fighting a war it's losing support for, at home and abroad. Iran refuses to blink. Oil prices are strangling the entire planet's economy. And one country trying to actually cool things down, Oman, quietly talking to Yemen, Saudi, and the UN, is getting zero credit and doing more real diplomacy than everyone else combined. Listen, don't sleep on this Iran story, because the second Brent crude crosses $100, that's not a Middle East problem anymore. That's a you filling up your car tomorrow morning problem. That's onion prices. That's your Uber cab storage pricing. That's every single supply chain that touches a barrel of oil, which, spoiler, is all of them. And here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. This isn't a them problem happening somewhere far away on a screen. Every time a tanker gets hit in the Red Sea, every time an embassy quietly empties out in Tehran, every time Trump promises a deal that Netanyahu vetoes with one phone call, that ripple reaches your kitchen. It reaches the fuel pump down the street. It reaches whether the guy delivering your groceries is paying more for fuel this month than last month. Geopolitics stopped being background noise a long time ago. We just like pretending it is until the bill shows up. So this is going to get worse before it gets better. And if history has taught us anything about this specific neighborhood, worse usually arrives faster than better. So that's all in this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.